Have you ever stopped to think about what people will say about you when you're not around? I'm not talking about your job title or your car or anything like that, but about you. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea about legacy. And the answer, well, it might be a lot simpler than you think. I mean, that's a huge question, right? It can feel a little heavy. But the idea we're exploring today suggests the answer isn't about some huge grand achievement. Nope. It's about something much, much closer to home. This one question is really the key to everything we're about to unpack.
So where do we even begin? Well, let's start by looking at the scorecard that society basically hands to all of us. You know, the one that measures success in ways that are super easy to see and even easier to count. And this idea of keeping score, it's absolutely everywhere. It starts with grades when we're kids, right? Then it's job titles and salaries, and now it's even likes and followers online. We're pretty much trained from day one to measure our lives against these really visible metrics.
So, what's actually on this public scorecard? Well, according to the source material, it's packed with things that just don't last. The cool clothes we wore, the money in our bank account, the car we drove. Look, these things get a ton of attention because they're easy to see and compare, but they're all part of a story that just fades away.
And because they're so visible, we're told these are the things worth chasing, that a good life is a life that's just full of impressive stuff. But the big question here is that scorecard written in permanent ink, or is it more like writing in the sand? Okay, and this is where the whole idea takes a massive turn. We pivot from the things we own to the impact we have. It's almost like we've been looking at the wrong scorecard this entire time. It's time to focus on something you just can't buy or park in the driveway. This is it. This is the single most important piece of the whole puzzle. All the noise in our lives, our jobs, our things, it all just fades into the background. But what's left? What really, truly sticks around? It's this. And that is the absolute crucial difference. Think about it. A car's gonna rust, clothes go out of style, but an emotional imprint, that feeling you give someone of being seen or heard or just valued, that feeling doesn't have an expiration date. That is the part that lasts.
So, what we really have here are two totally different kinds of legacies. One that's basically temporary and one that's permanent. So, let's break it down and see exactly why one of them endures while the other one just disappears.
You know, when you put these two side by side, the difference is just so clear. On one side, you have a material legacy, a legacy of objects. And by their very nature, objects are replaceable, right? There's always a newer phone, a faster car. But the other side, that's a legacy of moments. And those are completely unique. They're irreplaceable. You are the only person on earth who can make someone feel the way you do. So if you had to focus on just one thing, one true measure of your life that will actually remain long after you're gone, it's this. It's the emotional record you leave behind with other people. Now, understanding all of this, that's the easy part. The real challenge is actually living it. So how do we shift our focus in our day-to-day lives from that forgotten list to the one that's remembered forever? Well, the source material gives us a surprisingly simple instruction. Keep that in your mind. It sounds so basic, doesn't it? But what it's really asking us to do is to be mindful in our interactions. It's an instruction to make the emotional impact of our words and actions a conscious thought, not just an afterthought. And this really boils down to a simple three-part practice. First, just create a little pause before you act or speak. Then, in that moment, ask yourself that one simple question: how will this make them feel? And finally, make a conscious choice to prioritize that impact over your own image. And that really brings us right to the end. That huge philosophical question about legacy. It all comes down to this very small, very immediate, and very personal choice. It's not about some grand plan for how you'll be remembered 50 years from now. It's about the very next person you talk to. So the real question is, how will you make someone feel right now, today?